It's really crazy. I feel like defense was once becoming a lost art in the NBA, but more and more recently, I've seen people start to appreciate good defensive players more and more. We've seen players like Andre Roberson carve out careers just off of being good to great defenders. Seriously, Andre Roberson struggled all over the floor, but defensively, he was an impact player, and that was good enough to have him starting on a very good Thunder team. It's really unfortunate what injuries have done to Roberson's career, because I really do feel like he was going to continue to develop and continue to become more and more of an impact player. What's also unfortunate is that Russell Westbrook had to put up with somebody shooting 26% from the three-point line. Those old Thunder teams definitely had some spacing issues. This is starting to sound like a pro Westbrook video. Anyways, my point is that defense is big. It's half the game of basketball. While everybody loves an offensive dynamo, the admiration of two-way players just keeps making more and more progress. And I really feel like that's how it should be. Anthony Davis, Giannis, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, guys that are beasts on both sides of the basketball. And then you have guys like Rudy Gobert, dominant on one side of the basketball, and on the other, if you didn't watch him, you wouldn't know. This is going to sound like hyperbole, but I really feel like Gobert is part of what makes Utah's offense click. He averages 13 points per game, but the impact feels like 30. His touch has gotten better around the basket. He's a big-time roll man and a big-time lob target, one of the best screen setters in the entire league. His finishing ability helps open up the floor for the entire Utah Jazz team, and they're devastating shooters. The Jazz are third in three-point percentage and second in generating open three-pointers. And they're also hovering around that one spot in the Western Conference. A major shout out to Mitch and a major shout out to Snyder, because this team is cooking. So why is everybody mad? We'll get to that in just a second. But before we go any further, I have to give a major shout out to Nutrisystem for sponsoring this video. Nutrisystem is pretty tough. They deliver your favorite foods made healthier. Nutrisystem is all about inspiring and helping people live the lives they want through healthy living and better eating. I don't know about you guys, but I'm always super busy. So the more convenient and easy a food is to prepare, the better it is for me. Nutrisystem delivers the right foods and the right portions right to your door. The meals make staying healthy and losing weight so much easier, so that I can focus on things like getting buckets. I love the taste, and I think you guys will too. A major shout out to Nutrisystem for sponsoring this video. Clicking the link in the description box will get you 50% off of Nutrisystem. December 20th, 2020, Rudy Gobert signed a 5-year, $205 million extension with the Utah Jazz. This extension kind of broke the basketball world because it felt like nobody knew how to act. It's really funny because I made a video on this topic and I still have the audio of the video. I just never made it into a video. I pretty much defended the Jazz and their decision to sign Gobert to what is the third largest contract in NBA history. Number one is Giannis signing for $228 million. Number two, Russell Westbrook, who signed for $207 million. Which brings me to a very serious question right now. Would you rather have Russell Westbrook at $207 million, or would you rather have Rudy Gobert at $205 million? I'm not here to say the contracts aren't giant, because they are. I'm not even here to tell you that he's worth it, even though he may be worth it for the Utah Jazz. I'm here to tell you that I understand why they signed Rudy Gobert to a contract that's $205 million deep, even if the rest of the world doesn't. I'm sure you guys are wondering, who is the rest of the world? Well, it's no secret that Shaq has attacked Rudy Gobert multiple times. Shaq has said things along the lines of, I would have had 45 points and 16 rebounds, along with 10 missed free throws if Rudy Gobert was checking me. He would have had 11 points, 4 rebounds, and fouled out in 3 quarters. I'm a G. Rudy Gobert, he took the high road and said, I guess we'll never know. Shaq also said, I'm not going to hate, but this should be an inspiration for all the little kids out there. You average 11 points in the NBA, you can get 200 million too. Rudy Gobert's averaging 13. I guess that 13 is why they gave him that extra 5 million along with that 200. What really confuses me when it comes to Shaq is that Rudy Gobert is one of the closest things to an old school center that the NBA has. A lot of times, the TNT crew hates on these new school centers shooting threes. But how are you also going to hate on Rudy Gobert for playing his role and being a dominant force on the defensive side of the basketball? The Jazz run a scheme that funnels players to Rudy Gobert. Not only is Rudy Gobert one of the best rim protectors in the entire NBA, he's a menace from 4 to 14 feet. He currently leads the league in blocks coming from that area. Utah's defensive rating improves 10.2 points per 100 possessions with Gobert in the lineup. Just ask the Brooklyn Nets what they would do for a Gobert type of player in their lineup. Their defense has been bad on a historic level. Defense wins games and championships. Looking at stats is easy. Giving critical analysis, that can be hard. Darko Milicic. If you don't know who Darko is, he's the guy that was drafted right after LeBron James in 2003. Right after LeBron, right before Dwayne Wade, right before Carmelo Anthony. He was a player that had talent, and I really do feel like went to the wrong situation. When NBA players talk, I listen, regardless of how good or bad they were. Darko said that if Gobert is worth 205 mil, then our Jokic should sign a contract for 500 mil. That's how much better he is than Rudy. It's weird because Darko also said that he was happy for Rudy, but he was also sick of games ending in 300 points. He says, what are they doing out there on the court? Some hate to return back to defense, camp on offense. To Darko, it's a disaster, and he doesn't like basketball being played in such an offensive fashion. I understand Darko wanting to hype up Jokic because Jokic definitely doesn't get the love he deserves. And I even understand his frustration with some of the defense that gets played in the NBA. When you compare a game like the NBA to European basketball, the rules are different. The NBA rules, court size, all of that stuff, gives the advantage to the offensive player. But to me, that makes what good defenders do in the NBA all the more impressive. How are you going to be mad at the NBA playing no defense and then be mad at Rudy Gobert? Let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm Gilai Coop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.